In this video, we're going to look at rounding whole numbers. Two things to keep in mind. First, when the number is less than 5, we round down. When the number is 5 or greater, we round up. We'll put those 2 points into focus as we move along on the examples. First example, round 28 to the nearest tens place. So, starting from our right, let's count our place values. The 8 is in the ones place, and this is the tens place. So we're rounding this number. And we always look to the number to the right for help. So, back to the 2 points that we talked about in the beginning, if the number is 5 or above, we round up. So that means this 2 rounds up to a 3. And then everything to the right of the place value we're rounding to becomes 0. So 28 rounded to the nearest tens is 30. Next example, if we want to round 417 to the nearest tens place. Again, we can count our values, ones, tens. The 1 is in the tens place. We look to the 7 for help. It's 5 or above, so we're going to round this 1 up to a 2. So the 4 stays the same, 1 becomes a 2, and remember, everything to the right of the place value we're rounding to becomes a 0. Next example, if we want to round 796 to the nearest tens place. This one's a little bit different. Again, we have our ones place, tens place. So we're rounding this number. We look to the number to the right, and it is 5 or above. So therefore, this 9 becomes a 10. And since it becomes a 10, just like when we're adding 2-digit numbers, let's say, we have to carry our 1. So the 1's going to go right there, so the 7 becomes an 8. And remember, this came at 10, so that's a 0, and everything to the right of the place value we're rounding to becomes a 0. So 796 rounded to the tens place is 800. Okay, let's say we want to round 648 to the nearest hundreds. Okay, let's get our place values, ones, tens, hundreds. So we're rounding the 6. We look to the 4 for help. It's less than 5, so therefore we round down. So lots of people sometimes incorrectly make the mistake of making the 6 a 5, or in actuality, when we round down, the number just stays the same. So the 6 stays as a 6, and everything to the right of the place value we're rounding to, again, becomes a 0. So 648 rounded to the nearest hundreds place is 600. Round 2,475 to the nearest hundreds place. Again, we have ones, tens, hundreds, rounding the 4. We look to the number to the right. It's 5 or above, so it tells us this 4 rounds up to a 5. So our final answer would be 2,500. All right, 2 more examples. If we want to round 12,562 to the nearest 10,000th place, let's count our values, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and that's 10,000s. That's the number we're rounding. We look to the right for help. It's less than 5, so we round down. So again, this 1 just stays the same. So, and everything to the right of the place value that we're rounding to becomes a 0 when we're rounding all numbers. So 12,562 rounded to the nearest 10,000th place is 10,000. And last example, if we have 2,632,315 and we're rounding it to the nearest hundreds place. So our 3 is in the hundreds place. We look to the right for help. It's a number less than 5, so the 3 is just going to stay the same. So our new number is 2,632,300, because remember, everything to the right of the place value we're rounding to becomes a 0. And that is how we round whole numbers.